close in week 3 to qualifying. He did make it into the top 16, but unfortunately just at the last minute was not quite able to clutch it, you know, and really bring it to the table and make one of those qualification points. But he's back this week, and this is his final chance.
So we saw Busdriver get top 16 last week, where I can't remember exactly who it was that defeated him, but it was very close.
It was Busdriver versus Break.
Okay, cool. So Break was able to win that one last time, but if anything, this means that Busdriver knows he is capable of making top 16. He knows he is top 16 material for the Quake World Championships. Question is, can he do it 2 weeks in a row? And that is going to be what he needs to answer over the next couple of matches. And we can see that Ruins of Sarnath is going to be the first map in this series. And Gaia, I actually believe we've seen both of these players through Sacrifice as well. So another pair of players that are very comfortable with multiple game modes in this game thus far. We're going to be seeing Galena, Anarchy, and Nyx. So we're going to see the pairing of Anarchy and Nyx together, which I want to say for the first time today. I believe it's the first time we've seen it today, at the very least. We haven't seen it anywhere near as much as we normally did. And then the Galena, just to finish things off, who we've already seen do wonderful things on Ruins of Sarnath over the last 4 weeks.
I think I really enjoy watching Galena in Quake Champions because of just how differently she can approach the game. You've got every champion in the game can play fundamental Quake. Every champion can play Quake. That's just the way it is. But it's the variations of what their abilities and passives bring, where she really demands you approach the game a certain way. And a big thing she does in Duel is deny entry points, where she can put it on a teleporter or a jump pad, and it's unreactable. There are certain places that you can't see. So when you've used a teleporter and you land on a totem, that's it. You're going to take that damage.
The problem is she kind of needs space and time to do that and start getting that to work. And one interesting thing about Galena as a whole is her passive, where she reduces cooldown on her ability for picking up health, as well as those little hourglass pickups. You don't find yourself wanting to be less than full health all the time, so you're not quite as capable of picking those up in the middle of the map itself. But we do see it used a little bit, but not quite as much as we do in the Sacrifice.
So already we go down to that exchange, heavy armor, mega health. And immediately Busdriver goes for that typical setup, really. Just going in for that totem right as he goes through the jump pad.
Also, Busdriver with Galena first, whereas normally we see Anarchy go for this sort of like first position just to get that sort of snowball rolling. But one thing I like about this pick, though, having Galena first, is it was very likely that Gaia was going to be starting with Anarchy, and those totems, if Anarchy runs into those totems, the amount of damage he does to himself is insane, especially early on when he's unlikely to be stacked up.
Now, already he's got 2 totems out there on the screen, and he gets a clean rail as well. Fantastic first frag.
Strong start for Busdriver just to get that Anarchy off the table straight away. Mega health going to be up any second now. We can see that his totem is almost here too. Oh, does eat a rail.
He can be confident if he wants to, but stays a little bit too long. Takes too much damage, and he's going to get taken out, and that's obviously going to cause the totem to disappear.
Even things out now. He goes to Anarchy second. Oh, good shot. Oh, but you're going to do too much. You see how much damage you can sponge if you have that mega health. Oh no, just short of the jump. Going to let Busdriver have a little bit of free reign up the top.
You can definitely make a little bit more decisions like that with Ranger because of that less self-damage passive he has doing those rocket jumps. Not really doing any damage to him at all. There's that missed rail.
Yeah, Busdriver's been good with these rails up until this point. Unfortunately, not quite connecting now. It's going to give Gaia that free mega health. Heavy armor is up too. Going to pick that up as well.
I think it's good timing as well, where during that exchange he was waiting for the rail to miss, and then during the rail shot downtime, he would then choose to move around and go in or run away, just so he wasn't really at risk of any damage at all.
Busdriver only just picking up armor though, so now he can survive a rail. Guy kind of missed his little window of opportunity there. Again, this fight for the mega health.
Ooh.
Eats a railgun just before, but not quite enough.
He turns around right as he picks it up, probably expecting him to be behind, but because of it, he took just a completely free rail.
I must say though, Gaia has these timers a little bit better than Busdriver does right now, but I'm not quite sure if Busdriver just doesn't want to get caught in those sort of close proximities with someone like Anarchy, whereas Gaia has that more foolproof sort of instant escape option. And Dire Orb teleportation, so maybe a little bit safer for him to go for these big power-ups.
Busdriver has not only been missing a lot of these rails, but he's actually been hitting a lot of the terrain in the process. As in, like, just sort of hitting walls and pillars point blank. Another missed rail. Gaia becoming more and more powerful and stacked up. And the more rails miss, the easier it will be for him to do that. Good patience, nice reaction on the teleporter as well. Nicely timed. He's going to be aggressive, and there we go.
There's that mid-air right in the face of Busdriver.
That was literally in his face. That was an incredibly violent rocket.
Anyone that's ever been frustrated fighting Anarchy, I think, would have just been so happy to see that.
And now Busdriver. Nyx as the final pick. Oh! What? That was just clean.
That was instant death. Immediate death.
That's what
100% gone.
That's what happens when you have no armor and you meet a mid-air rocket. You can't survive. If you're Anarchy,
that is like
Nyx.
That's the dream. That's the dream when you're fighting against Nyx or Anarchy. When you catch them on spawn without armor and literally one bullet. You click the left mouse button one time and that character is gone.
She didn't even have time to use her Ghost Walk.
No, direct rocket does more than enough for that.
Here's the change. They've both gone Anarchy first, so Busdriver opting out of the Galena immediately.
Probably wants to beat Anarchy, which is weird because Busdriver was able to quite convincingly take that first frag last time. I wonder what changed.
He might just want to fight fire with fire. Anarchy's mobility on ruins is, in many ways, uncontested. If you have the option to take that yourself, then not really in any form of disadvantage, and got a couple of good rockets there as well. Gaiia looking really good.
Indeed, heavy armor's going to get picked up too. Busdriver finds himself with massive health and armor disadvantage now. Gaiia.
Oh, fumbles his rocket jump a little bit, so he's just going to do unnecessary self-damage, really.
But he is stacked, so can't afford to make those mistakes.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, once again, those rockets not quite taking the mark. Gaiia now finds himself quite low. Busdriver, no armor, so quite vulnerable now.
Here comes the ambush. No, he second-guessed it. Almost ready to try and surprise. But actually, the heavy armor doesn't get taken anyway.
And again, I do believe we might firmly be back to this almost like slow-paced sort of setting that we saw earlier on in the day. Both these guys not really want to overcommit. As I can say that they're really forcing this fight now. Anarchy versus Anarchy. Lots of damage coming through, and Busdriver goes down. Gaiia looking really strong. What's going to be his second pick? Okay, going into Galena now. We saw he was actually able to take out this matchup, the Galena versus Anarchy. He was able to do this convincingly before. Can he do it now that Gaia's actually stacked himself up quite a bit?
Gaia's rockets have been really well placed throughout this entire game. Not just after that round that we just saw, but at this stage, like in the Anarchy mirror, where Anarchy is quite hard to hit with those grounded rockets. Gaiia himself was taking very little damage because of that, but it wasn't an issue against the Anarchy. Just really well placed rockets.
Oh, if you want to stay for, he's going to see that 95 direct. He's doing a lot of damage here. Busdriver goes down again. It's going to be getting him with mega health too.
He did just run into a totem right before, even though Galena got fragged until, I suppose, until the respawn had been clicked. Her totem must have still been up there. That's almost some Doom next level tech. leave your mine on screen before you respawn and it might get a frag.
Oh, lightning gun coming through. Isn't going to be enough damage. He's using health quite rapidly.
He's in a bad spot, but these missed rails still missing them. Gaiia alive still.
Oh, Busdriver from above. He must have double jumped. Cheeky stuff. Good stuff.
That was
nice stuff.
I think that is the last place Gaiia expected him to be. I think it's the last place any of us expected him to be.
Not Busdriver though. He was 100% ready to do that. Didn't even hesitate.
It's quite a big comeback to make, but Nyx, absolutely a champion that can do that. Gonna get that free damage on the jump pad. But here come the rockets again, and we've seen how dangerous these rockets can be from Gaiia, and this is no different. He gets another frag, and that's another round. 2-0 at this stage.
Gaiia looking good so far. Busdriver on the ropes. Busdriver having moments of greatness, but ultimately Gaiia is kind of just out-stabilizing him in these situations. He's kind of just controlling the majority of what's going on, and I think the big important thing is Gaia's just being a little bit more accurate when it really counts.
We have seen a lot of missed rails coming out of Busdriver, and now he's 2 rounds down. You start to think, you know, are these too costly misses?
Not quite sure, but an early fight breaking out. Either of them going to commit? Yes, they are.
Oh,
Busdriver,
he misses the rail.
Yeah, Busdriver forcing the aggression, making that situation where one of us is guaranteed to die. Busdriver with that confidence to show that it won't be him.
But it's Rail versus Rocket, and you're both Anarchy. It's much more likely a Rocket might seal it. At least at that range, anyway. But already Gaia on Ranger this time. Haven't seen a huge amount of his Ranger so far. It's pretty much 100% Anarchy.
Yeah, almost.
Now Busdriver, because he's the one that's up on a champion.
Long way away from health, mega health and heavy armor. So I think they're just trying to go for these fights. We can really see that Busdriver has plenty of weapons to go with. Oh, catches him. They surprising each other. Wow, that was a direct, I think.
I'm fairly positive that was a direct Rocket. That was too high up to be a grounded one. That was, again, a well-placed Rocket. Gaia's Rockets this entire game have been absolutely sublime.
The Rocket has definitely been his strongest weapon. I think that's like bar none right now. And it's putting it goosey. I mean, to be fair, look at Busdriver's team composition. That's not the tankiest of lineups. So if you are good with Rockets and you can hit directs against that lineup, that's going to be dangerous.
That is 100% 3 champions that don't want to take a direct. Here comes that standoff. Neither wants to overextend too much, but no doubt Busdriver is in a little bit more risk. Oh no!
Yeah, we're talking about how good he's been with Rockets.
I mean, even Busdriver had to acknowledge that one. That was so crazy scenario that he was out in the open and the rails missed, but it was in fact the Rocket that connected. There's a what? I mean, he just played sick, 100% throughout that map. Gaia just pulled out all the stops, and he missed nothing.
Well, that's what it ultimately boiled down to, was accuracy and confidence. You know, to just go for those long-range rockets, to go for those long-range, even the dire orb at the end. I think that was the ultimate way to I think that was the ultimate way to sum up, I know this is going to work. There's one thing shooting rockets from full map trying to get directs, but shooting the dire orb, which moves infinitely slower, but we're going to obviously go for that big damage on impact. I mean, if you're going to connect it, is there any better way to go in more confident into the next map than having that kind of win in the last round?
It's a lot of momentum to try and take away. I think that was a dominant map. All 3 rounds looked 100% in Gaia's favor. We didn't even really need to see his visor at all, if at all. So when you take that into account, and now you've got to pick the map, because it's now your turn, because you lost the map, it's quite a big mental hurdle, I would say.
I think it depends what lineup he wants to bring to the table. Because if he wants to go with the same 3, I just don't know if Ruins of Sarnath is the best map for that. That's kind of maybe yes, maybe no, because we've seen all those champions do. I don't think it was really a bad map for them. It's just a question of whether there is a better map for them. But ultimately, you know, you can't go wrong with Anarchy. Nyx is good basically anywhere. Galenia is when it gets a little bit more map dependent, I suppose. But even then, like perhaps a Blood Run.
I'm not sure we'll see Galena again. And if we do see Galena again, I'm likely to think that we're going to see a map that she benefits greatly on.
But even then, like the Galena pick, it just didn't seem to work out. And I don't think it's because he was playing it poorly. I think we were just seeing it being played around better. You know what I mean? It was played around better than it was utilized.
Yeah, you could agree with that. We're moments away from getting into this next map, and that's it. We're going to see Gaia 1 map up already, and because this is, once again, guys, the final qualification week for EU. If Gaia wins this map, he's going to move on, and unfortunately, Busdriver, this will be the last we see of him in the World Championship.
Maybe if he loses here, that's going to be him for Duel, and that will be him done. And it's upsetting knowing we're at that situation. It hasn't felt like
because these players are all so good. The amount of talent that exists within the Quake community already, seeing as Quake Champions is basically a brand new game. It's been out in an open variety for quite maybe just over a month or so.
I think it's closed beta, but quite easy to get access to through the Bethesda launcher. But regardless, you know...
But the amount of talent that exists already is ridiculous.
Yeah, your point stands. For the amount of time it's actually been available, to how good some of these guys, many of these guys have already gotten already, it's staggering. Like, knowing that 4 weeks might not seem like a lot of time in the long run, in the grand scheme of things for a game. But if it's the first 4 weeks, and you've been putting in, like, countless hours a day, a week, however much it is you're putting into it, then you know that's going to be dangerous. And that's exactly the situation we find ourselves in. And Blood Covenant is going to be map number 2 here. Both players spending a little bit of time considering what they want to go with. Busdriver going back into the Anarchy, Gaia returning with the same pick. Ranger once again, and again in retaliation.
Are we going to see a mirror? Are we going to see another Nyx? No, Visor once more. Also, I like the fact that all of his champions have distinct bright color shaders. He had purple, blue, and bright red. Big agree.
That's all right. It's not bad at all.
So, when it came to the champions that we saw, though, Blood Covenant is going to be That's going to be Busdriver's lifeline. This is his choice, and all 3 champions he selected once more work fantastically well on this map. And if you're going to win Duel on Blood Covenant, you've got to be picking champions that can navigate the map freely and have essentially no limitations. The second you have mobility limitations on this map, you are at a complete disadvantage compared to an opponent that, if you're a champion that doesn't need to ever touch the floor, you can control every important pickup with the, with the exception of maybe the lightning gun or something. But you can control the mega health, heavy armor, rocket launcher, rail. They're all up top. So if you're sitting up there and you can easily move around without having to be challenged at all, then it's a great situation for you. If your opponent doesn't have that, they have to challenge you. They have to come to you for those items.
But we've already seen that today as well, like especially through Nyx particularly. We've seen like your scale bearer.
She's the pick of the day by far.
I think it's Nyx and Ranger for sure. The 2 of them together just seems so effective, especially on the maps that we've been seeing the most.
Here we go. This is potentially the final map for Busdriverx. He's gone in for Blood Covenant. Unfortunately, did lose the last map, but it was in dominant fashion. Gaiia looking unbelievably unstoppable so far.
It's just a question of momentum. You can see Busdriver. Has Busdriver seen him return? Oh, not quite. He's going to miss that shot.
But we did see that a lot on Ruins of Sarnath, unfortunately, where he would line up the shot, but there would be some form of terrain in the way. A few more seconds and that Mega's going to be up.
There we go. Here to respawn Busdriver. Able to get himself stocked up now.
Wow, Gaiia just didn't see him. That's a free rail if I've ever seen one.
Free rail and free heavy armor if he turns around. Is he going to know it's there? Yes, indeed.
Now, Busdriver has had a really strong start. He's got both important items. You can see down there as well, Gaiia being patient. Busdriver didn't hear him, so that's why he didn't turn around and think to look, but with the 1 map advantage, you can't really be you can't be too aggressive. Don't really want to give up too many frags.
Well, especially when Busdriver mistakes will be punished harder than at any point in the World Championship so far. Because, if he makes a mistake that costs him a game, costs him a round, costs him the set, it's costing him his trip to the Quake World Championships. And this is a situation where that pressure is really going to start to add up. And we talked about this earlier in the day where, this might be pressure that some people might be used to more than others, but ultimately, this is a lot to cope with in a situation where you're now playing for a life-changing situation. Making 1 mistake now could take that away from you.
Definitely a passive game so far.
And even here, just a little bit of damage exchanged, but neither player really wanting to commit too heavily.
It's actually pushed him away. The airborne catch on the railgun pushed Gaiia out of range of the heavy armor, and that was all Busdriver needed to finish it.
Maybe that's been Busdriver's main adjustment here, is to just slow things down, not taking the match at the pace that it was last time.
Very effective air rail. Unfortunately, because he's picked up the Mega, he's still in a good position, but can he finish it? Yes, he can. Now, Busdriver with a great start. He's just caught him there as well. A fantastic spawn.
Things looking significantly better for Busdriver this time. I think this pace he's really slowed the game down to is working out well. Guy doesn't look quite as comfortable here as he did before.
He knows Guy has gone in. He's heard the piercing sight, so he's not going to be at risk for quite a while, actually. Probably 45 seconds or so.
Mega health once again being controlled. Busdriver really prioritizing this right now.
But we're back to that typical scenario where Anarchy trying to play the runaway game it's popular, and it works well. And with 2 minutes left, Busdriver doesn't need to be over-aggressive anymore. Unfortunately, misses the rail. Gaiia again actually caught, not looking where he should be looking. Minimal damage on those rockets, but...
Oh, once again,
I feel like
yes, Busdriver is baiting him into this heavy armor, at the very least trying to stop him from picking it up. But Gaiia able to get it anyway. Ooh. Oh, they missed the rail. That could have been it.
The important thing there wasn't even Busdriver getting a frag.
Wow.
It was just making sure that Gaiia had to run away. But Gaiia didn't choose to run. He chose to stay there. And I think that's why when he dropped down and got the rail, it was a completely guaranteed frag. But the map pick, you can see why it's been beneficial to him, because the Anarchy movement on this map is really useful. Clearly a map that he's comfortable with, and he's able to move around as well. Knows a thing or two about it, but...
But it's also a question of once he's got the right sort of weapons stocked up, he kind of just seems to run the same loop, the same part of the map over and over and over again. He almost spent none of the map at all before on the rocket area. He was sort of just hiding down mega health.
I'm fairly certain I
just
saw a rail go through Anaki's legs, as in like through the gap in between his legs. That was sneaky.
Speaking of which, 100 damage rocket. Oh my lord, Busdriver, he has woken up. His accuracy has improved tenfold.
A big issue in that previous map was his lack of aim, and right now that has just not been a problem. Gaiia is in a bad spot. He's going in for piercing sight, probably just so he can help him in the fight, but it's not enough again. Another rail. It's down to his Ranger. There you go, Busdriver right now. He's being very intimidating. He just has such an amazing amount of momentum. Gaiia left down to this Ranger by himself, and what a read! Gets a little bit of damage on the rocket, but 50, well, make that 80. And now Gaia's in big trouble. Lovely flick, and just, what a turnaround.
Really well played. Ultimately, I mean, this aim has just been ridiculous so far. Gaiia looks a little bit flabbergasted in the chat so far. I don't think he was quite expecting this kind of turnaround.
This definitely is not the same Busdriver that we saw in the first map. Like, not at all.
Round 3.
I mean, this is his map. Maybe this is just his favorite map overall.
You can see why. Clearly comfortable. Knows a thing or two. Ah, tries to get the nail jump, but unfortunately misses it. The big issue here, though, is that he's actually not got the rail, and that has been his golden weapon so far. Hang on, here comes Gaiia being really aggressive. Is that enough to survive? No, gets a one shot with that. No, what a turnaround!
Oh, Gaiia is not happy. Oh, lordy lord, Gaiia is unfortunately tilting in the chat, which, I mean, like I said before, if anything, it's kind of just letting Busdriver know that, I mean, he's clearly got in his head at the moment. Gaiia doesn't seem very happy about this.
That was a good decision from Busdriver as well. Go, right, he's caught me in a bad spot. If I try to run, I will just die running away. I've got a super shotgun. It's going to do more damage than a gauntlet at point blank. If I can get a good point blank, I'm going to survive and frag him. He got over 100 damage on the first shot. And then the second one, I mean, there was such little health left. It was probably, I would think that was one of the plays of this tournament so far.
Indeed. And Busdriver less than a minute in and already has his first frag, and what could be tying things up right now. 1 round away from 1-1 in the series, and that's what Busdriver needs. After looking so, I don't want to say helpless in map 1, but definitely looking nowhere near as controlling as Gaiia was.
Not as confident. It just wasn't as confident. And then you turn around as a Blood Covenant. It's been just a complete change. But his thing, pay attention to the fact that Busdriver is still yet to pick up a rail. I think that's what Gaiia might be trying to, that's why he's up there. I think he's trying to control it, but another mid-air, 100 damage, but they do trade it out. Busdriver took a lot more damage in that one with his weak low armor pool and health, but...
Injection. Oh, that would have killed him.
No armor, that would have killed him.
There's some now, heavy armor going to be up any second, he knows it.
But with the speed of Anarchy, even before Gaiia was even able to go anywhere near the bridge, he'd gone in, taken the heavy armor, and just gone out of there. That was a high damaging rocket though. Look at the amount of health he's just taken.
Quickly topping himself up though, 3 left. Oh,
wow. The jukes on the rocket as well. Good movement.
And Gaiia left down to
what a spawn. What a spawn. If he had just a little bit more health, he would have fought that, I think.
So he's going to prioritize getting this mega health. Just top himself back up to overfull again.
I wonder if Anarchy will actually be able to beat Gaiia towards the heavy armor. He knows he's going to be heading towards that, but Gaiia, hang on, he's going around the outside. Going straight to it. Probably thinks it is a little bit predictable.
1 champion away though, Busdriver so close to tying things up. And after how one-sided the first map was, you know he's looking to build that momentum back, and that's exactly what he's been doing for the last couple of minutes.
I think it shows how important map choice really is. Because that was a dominant game 1, but game 2, it's dominant still, but not for the same reasons. And this time it's Busdriver instead.
Looks like Gaiia has just conceded the mega health.
You feel that zip past your ears when that rail misses by a hair's length. 2 minutes left. With that champion lead, Busdriver can be defensive if he wants to. There's that piercing sight. Busdriver would have no doubt heard that.
But used at a time that there was no big pickups on the map, and he's got all the weapons he needs, so I don't think there's anything wrong with him just being very patient there. Although the mega health is already back, heavy armor going to be soon to follow. Oh, fight's breaking out.
Just getting out there.
He does
not
have
even
the injection
interested.
too.
He's not even interested fighting at all. I think he's completely happy playing this defensive game. Ready for a visor just in case he was across that bridge, but instead he gets himself a mega health. Almost survived for a full minute, unchallenged. 5 seconds, he only has a minute left to survive. goes the 1-minute warning. If Busdriver survives, even with 2 champions.
I mean, this is a really good situation for Busdriver to be in, unless somehow he chokes this in the next minute. But I'm almost ready to say this could be a guaranteed tie. Busdriver, you know, is going to be happy with this one, provided he can keep this going.
There's that 40-second mark. The danger at this point is that if Busdriver goes for Anarchy, fairly positive he'll respawn as Nyx just to have that Ghost Walk, which will waste about 3 seconds.
Maybe, but is Gaia close enough to him? Does he have the piercing sight ready? And if so, this will be his last one used before. Or he's getting chased.
There's the injection. Here he comes, but there we go. Gaia gets taken out at the last possible minute. That was just a great turnaround. Nothing else. There's really not much else you can say about that. It was just clearly very confident on the map. His entire roster of champions just complemented Blood Covenant superbly, and it was just really well played. On the flip side, Gaia played out of his mind on Ruins of Sarnath, and Busdriver played out of his mind on Blood Covenant.
But let's not forget, that was the map that Busdriver picked, so whatever he goes to now is going to be Gaia's choice. So fingers crossed, Busdriver does that well on other maps too, otherwise this could be a wash once again. I think the champion change was big. I think just getting rid of that Galena, realizing it wasn't doing it as much, was a big decision, and it was put to good use. But ultimately, he was barely knocked off his Anarchy. Busdriver just looking really strong from start to finish, with basically just one champion. So I think it's guaranteed we're going to be seeing Anarchy again, probably first again, just to make sure he can sort of keep the momentum going right from the start. But I think the big kicker here is going to be what map we go to.
Well, there's no doubt we didn't see Galena picked on Blood Covenant. It's just not a map that I think she works really well on Duel, because there's not really there's minimal use of a teleporter. But the big thing is it's the typical tail where to be effective on Blood Covenant you've got to be able to maneuver around the map really well. And most champions can do that with abilities and passives, and Galena's just doesn't. The totem is both her ability and her passive, because it's really effective when you factor in how much health you get back to contribute towards your ability recharging. But I think it's unlikely we'll see him go Galena again. I think that the switch away has been greatly beneficial across all 3 of his champions. So I'd be surprised if he changes away from that, because it looks like he's got a good thing going here, and I think he's going to keep that momentum and just ride it, I think.
A big part of this I'd like to see is Gaia almost like respecting Busdriver's options a little bit more, because in those sort of situations, a lot of those frags or deaths just came down to like insta-give, just instantly getting taken down with like 1 shot or maybe 2 very, very quickly, sort of back to back together. To the point that you see Gaia in chat, like he's genuinely being caught off guard by this, but maybe it's worth him just trying to be a little bit more prepared for those situations. But Corrupted Keep will be our 3rd and final map.
So we'll have a look. Neither champion picking those massive, chunky, tanky champions.
Hello.
But going on to Corrupted Keep, we're seeing a running theme here. Beef and Blazkowicz. That's what everyone likes to go
Beef
for.
and Blazkowicz.
That's just the typical team comp that people go on this map. But what are the final picks? Anarchy once again. Busdriver. Is he going to go with... Is he going to go... No! He opts to go completely in the opposite direction. And in many ways, so does Gaia. The only even remotely tanky champion on this whole map is going to be Sorlag. You don't really see that every day on Corrupted Keep.
That does mean there's going to be a Blazkowicz, though, on this small map, just trying to control and shred that health down very fast.
A Blazkowicz on a small map like Corrupted Keep, and no tanky champions on the flip side to soak up any of the damage. If any one of Busdriver's champions get caught in a bad spot with either no Ghost Walk or anything else, Blazkowicz will just delete you in like the blink of an eye. So he's going to have to be really careful here.
Indeed. But like you said, he has the same champions as last time. I'm actually not too surprised at all to see him sticking with his guns, considering that was a very one-sided map in return. Let's not forget, he did run, I think it was Galena instead of Ranger last time. So if he can sort of keep the same amount of momentum going now, then I mean, it's probably a fair assumption that he expects the same thing again. But a dramatically different composition coming out of Gaia. I think the Sorlag probably being the most sort of defining thing on that composition, because we've actually already seen Ruins of Sarnath. I'm about to say Ruins of Sorlag. Sorlag
I used to make that mistake day one.
We've already seen Sorlag on Corrupted Keep just being very powerful. And I hope we get to see the same reason now.
Another thing I'm a little bit worried about here is that Sorlag and Blazkowicz have a great job at deleting smaller champions. Oh, speaking of deleted, just, I mean, destroyed.
That's Anarchy gone as well. That is instantly
just like
out.
that. I just don't think anyone was ready for that at all.
I mean, less than 30 seconds into this round, we already have the first frag gone, and it's Gaia that fell straight into the Sorlag though.
Looking to really go for that area denial on that heavy armor using the acid, but it's going to be gone for quite a while. Sorlag collecting both heavy armor and mega health. That is one dangerous lizard thing.
I mean, just look at the health. Look at the sheer amount of health this character has, this champion. So tanky.
5 seconds away from the acid spit as well. I don't think Gaia's going to have any issues being point blank. One good rocket. There's that dire orb. Does he predict the teleport? That was just a giant bait from Busdriver. Didn't commit to the teleport. Look how far away he is now. Picked himself up an LG. That's going to be crucial for dealing with a chunky champion like Sorlag.
But it is a fully stacked Sorlag too. Gaia has just been doing a really good job of keeping himself topped up. Even though he's down on champions, he is controlling both of these big pickups.
Trying to really sort of keep him locked by this area. Bit of an exchange here. Almost like a...
There we go. The acid. He's dead. That's it. I mean, that is really the power of Sorlag in a 1v1 situation where you seem to be trading out the damage, and then out of nowhere, just these balls of acid just start doing their guaranteed tick damage.
That was lovely movement by Gaia. I mean, look at how fast he is. Just like that, in the split second, he's now fully ready to go. A little bit of an unfavorable situation though, but that heavy machine gun again, that sniping capability on Corrupted Keep, it's a very useful tool here.
Armor looking good. Heavy, I'm going to be up in a few seconds, but Gaia still tank. Oh, wow. Yeah, Busdriver's having the fight taken to him.
Oh! That was a gauntlet. I think Gaia actually might be low on ammo. That might have been why we saw the change to the gauntlet right there. There's the rocket point blank. Maybe not.
I think maybe he was just trying to go for either a bit of a style kill or just get that damage in. Let's not forget the gauntlet doing as much damage as it does against champions like Anarchy and Nyx. It can be quite dangerous, especially in these point blank smaller levels.
If you catch, well, it's about 80 damage for a gauntlet. So if you hit a Anarchy without all those injections with no armor, he's going to get one shot by it.
Maybe that's what Gaia was going for, but ultimately has managed to sort of seize control of this round once again. So Gaia finds himself in the driver's seat for the first time in a while. After quite a shaky start, he has been able to stabilize this.
A bit more of a close turnaround though, because the first map was unbelievably dominant for Gaia, and then the second one was crazy good for Busdriver. But in this first round, it's, yeah, I know Busdriver is down on champions, but
we do have a minute and a half left to go. I mean, that's enough time to at least even things out. But it is going to be a Sorlag that has been consistently maximum stacked on health and armor. Busdriver just isn't able to make a dent. You can see him just listening out, wanting to find out where he is, but Busdriver just not giving away his position that easily.
Doesn't really want to put himself at risk, I don't think. 1 minute 10, and he just caught him going for the mega. Now he's used the Ghost Walk, but I'm not sure that's going to save him.
Oh wow, Busdriver actually stayed around. He used the teleporter. Gaia just did not think he was going to do that.
It's likely Gaia just tried to get out of there, not even be in a position to get ambushed. Move faster than she can possibly go. Now here comes the danger. He's taking that ticking damage. He gets the frag anyway. So that's going to be really useful for him. But it's 10 seconds away until Nyx gets Ghost Walk versus a Blazkowicz that's just spawned with dual wield ready to go. Here's the chase.
He just can't let himself get anywhere near him. He's just going to get taken down by that dual wield.
Oh, that
direct.
And he didn't hear the Ghost Walk. He didn't hear it, so he's not ready for him to be there.
He did get some armor, though. I believe it was the heavy armor. Oh, wow, there's the read made from Gaia to catch him, and the dual wield is going to do enough to take him down. The round one went down to the wire. Very close, very slow and calculated, but ultimately Gaia is going to take that.
Crazy turnaround. I mean, it was almost a comeback. You almost would expect a comeback. I mean, it's Nyx after all. She is one of the best champions in the game at being able to do that, but it was just that final decision where he got that really good predictive rocket right as Nyx went around the corner, and she's taken so much damage there, and he had the dual wheel saved. He'd saved it ready to go, and he knew the Ghost Walk had been used. It was just great awareness. Oh, there's that fight Busdriver with the injection. Gaia still has his, but they're both weak. Maybe I spoke too soon. 9 HP though. That was a good time to actually use the injection there. That hit and run super shotgun. With the health that Busdriver has, that was a little bit more damage, and he's comfortable with it. There we go, super shotgun again.
We actually see Anarchy players opt to go to Super Shotgun quite a lot. I think it's just the sheer speed they have, so they can get in right point blank to get as much damage as possible, faster than other champions.
It's much easier for Anarchy to get point blank, on top of the fact that he himself is harder to hit. So I think that the Super Shotgun almost benefits him the best, outside of maybe Clutch.
Oh, big rocket damage coming in. Injection saves him once again.
Dire Orb left him with 2 HP. Gaiia has got to get out of there.
More rockets coming out though. Busdriver really trying to zone him off, I think.
You can just tell. I think they really want to sort of control this Mega. But at the same time, you don't want to put one wrong foot forward.
Also just not wanting to give up that rocket launcher. It's already been like the most popular weapon on this map. Let's just not forget there's no rails, so the rocket is the next best thing for massive damage. Not a big surprise to see him sort of just trying to control it. As I can say, that Busdriver goes down once again, and Gaiia with a commanding champion lead here, 3-1. But once again, Nyx is the lone one left to defend and make the comeback. We have seen it happen before, but it is difficult.
There's the Ghost Walk.
And once again, we can see Busdriver sort of hiding up there. Don't know if Gaiia was quite ready for him. It won't matter as Gaiia gets that quick return rocket in round 2. Looks like the momentum that Busdriver was able to build on Blood Covenant just hasn't carried over with him to Corrupted Keep.
That's match point for Gaiia. It's been quite a crazy set, really. Where it was a really strong map number 1. But at this point, I really think Gaia's just looking to repeat history. That's an amazing spawn, but even though he got an LG early, normally such an amazing weapon to get started with. But because he just met him point blank with a super shotgun, that was the best weapon for that situation.
Oh, he gets the duel out. That is Busdriver taken down immediately. Ouch. And there's that health regen. Doing good things to bring itself back up straight away.
Oh, trying to go for the super shotgun, but he's in so much trouble here. Here comes Nyx on the warpath.
Busdriver with low health, still trying to fight, but he knows that Gaiia is low. He wants to take it.
He was just convinced he was going to use that teleporter as well. Oh, and he gets another one, but minimal damage. I think Gaia's been trying to really avoid confrontation as much as possible right there.
But this is good though. Gaiia able to bring himself back up. Gaiia trying to poke him down, but look at how little health Gaiia has. No, Busdriver has, I should say.
But he's going to be saving. He's still saving that dual wield.
Oh, he's got it. Ghost Walk, is it there? Oh, he's fumbling this.
I don't think so. I don't think he had it ready. I think that's why he saved it for a split second just in case, but it was nowhere to be seen.
Gaiia came very close to sort of dropping that kill and choking it, but was able to keep himself together. And Busdriver caught on a spawn, very low on health.
He's in big trouble, and that's just become even more hard. Now Gaia's picked up mega health. Busdriver is in a bad spot right now.
I mean, Gaiia low on armor, but plenty of health to go with just to get this one down. Heavy armor going to be up in 10 seconds. Is Gaiia going to hang around the whole time?
Going to stay confident, I think. Just take that heavy armor. The second he gets that heavy armor, there's 10 seconds until mega health. If he can catch him before then, Busdriver just got put in a terrible situation. And here we go!
Wow, Busdriver with that clutch dire orb. I was just about to say, we might have 10 seconds left of Busdriver being in the Quake World Championships, but he is content to stay alive here. He has quite a tall order. He has to get this comeback here by taking out Sorlag, and then he has to get 2 clean rounds back to back.
But that was so brave, because if the dire orb didn't work, he would have been point blank. He certainly would have gone down, and he bet his entire tournament life on that. But an amazing execution.
This is good though. Busdriver able to sort of seize control back into the round as he manages to get himself heavy armor, mega health coming up very soon.
If Busdriver gets this round, it could be the start of something really special. Because that play was phenomenal, but so risky, considering how important this round is.
We can hear that she's around. I don't know if Busdriver's quite seen where Sorlag is exactly, though.
I think he's going to be a lot more interested in getting that armor.
Look at how tanky Busdriver is now. He's controlling all of this.
Very important rocket. Yeah, he's going to finish the trail with the LG, and Gaiia goes down. What a comeback through such a great decision.
Now, Busdriver needs to keep this momentum going completely, because if he drops it at any point now, I mean, it's all against him. we find Gaia with that round to win, guaranteed. And let's not forget, this is the final week of a qualification. If Busdriver, he got top 16 last time. If he goes down now, he is done. Starting off with the Ranger this time. I think he's quite content starting off with the Ranger just because how much damage he was able to put out with the Dire Orb last time.
The important thing is that he's actually taken the Super Shotgun away from Anarchy. Like, Gaia has used that to get a great start for 2 rounds in a row now. Here comes that long-range game. With no railgun, it's going to be really a matter of who has the more efficient long-range weapon.
Oh, the injection has popped. Gaia forced to run away, but it sounds like Busdriver's trying to chase him. Goes straight to the heavy armor, though. Oh, wow, Busdriver a little bit off the mark there.
Jumps down, but the 100 damage! 200 damage! Busdriver gets annihilated on the mega health.
Problem is, though, that Ranger was the champion that Busdriver was making this comeback with, and now he's lost it. So he's kind of lost his, I want to say it's definitely one of his strongest champions for sure.
Part of me feels like that's why he went for Ranger first, because that was his secret weapon right here. It was what got him such an amazing situation. He's lost it already.
Gaia quite low, Busdriver.
Wow, is Nyx still?
Indeed.
We've seen what Nyx can do when a team is on the back foot.
Ghost Walk used aggressively. Oh, wow, that connected. Oh. That would have been make or break for Busdriver, but unfortunately misses the mid-air rocket. Hard shot to make, though, so can't judge too hard.
Oh, definitely not. I think hitting Anarchy with a mid-air rocket is not the easiest thing to do.
I've definitely heard that heavy armor just go. He's going to have an idea where he might be now.
That does mean he's going to have that timer in his head, though. So when the heavy armor comes back, he's going to know when it respawns.
Speaking of which, their mega health goes in the way of Busdriver, I believe.
Well, here comes the aggressive Ghost Walk, catches him off guard. 35 health left, forced to use the injection.
It looked like Gaia just had a hunch that that was coming. You know what I mean? He just seemed to be ready as soon as he saw Busdriver appear.
Didn't do much to stop him from taking that free damage, but he did have an injection ready, so had that lifeline when he needed it. Oh, that clean jump as well. Straight over the rocket.
Busdriver stuck in between a bit of a rock and a hard place. Oh, never mind. He just gets brave and goes straight in there.
Now, on spawn, he's been able to take that mega health. That's really important to make sure that when he fights Sorlag, he can almost go toe-to-toe. He has health to compete with. For this next fight, he's going to have access to Ghost Walk, so it's going to be able to undo any acid damage he takes.
Doesn't look like he just has a nail gun, though.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure if Sorlag actually was anywhere near that rocket launcher. That's the trade. Just listening out. Keeping Sorlag away from the rocket.
Oh, she's going to pick it up. Not quite.
Yeah, not quite,
wow, yeah, she completely kept him away from it. That's huge.
Picking up a little bit of extra health and a mega health, so... Yeah, just look at the weaponry. The strongest weapon he's got is, in terms of damage output, is the super nail gun. He's got a lightning gun, but he has nothing else. Looks like he's going to get the rocket from this side, though. I'm not quite sure he's ready for him to come around the left. There we go. Free rocket. And that was a great sequence, and it's looking likely we're going to lose Nyx here. There we go.
Indeed, and there we go, Gaia, one champion away. Now Busdriver must make a little bit of a bit of a comeback now with Anarchy, 1 to 2 champions. A little bit more reasonable to do, but Busdriver's going to have to play his cards right perfectly here.
Here's the problem. After Sorlag got the frag, Sorlag got the mega health as well. 200 HP versus an Anarchy just on spawn. Going in for the super shotgun.
Yeah,
confident.
Oh no!
Oh, he misses!
Oh dear, that could have been everything for Busdriver. That super shotgun came down to so close, which is a bit disappointing, really. You see how much damage he was doing with the super shotgun earlier on in the series between them, and unfortunately, when he had to do it an extra time, that one extra time, he could have got a super shotgun kill, and he just wasn't able to get it down.
You said earlier on, these little execution errors being the deciding factor between moving on in the bracket and being eliminated for good is going to hurt really bad. I feel like that right there was one of those instances where he just did that one point-blank shot with the super shotgun and things might have been different, but king of hindsight, I know. Hindsight's a horrendous.
He saw that Gaia had used the acid spit. He understood that there was no point-blank burst like that left to go, and
that face shot.
Oh my lord!
I completely forgot about that face shot on the rocket.
But you know, ultimately,
this one was sick as well.
Yeah, of course. Ultimately, if he was able to bag that super shotgun shot, the frag point-blank, he would probably still be playing right now. But That's just the way it goes sometimes. Just the direwolf kill. Yes, it was.
It was.
Oh.
I feel like it's almost like we forgot how unbelievably well Gaia played in that first map. But I think a big part of that was because Busdriver looked so good on Blood Covenant. This was clearly his map. Like, this was clearly a map that he picked it himself. It was his map down choice. And we saw why. Because this was a great decision too. That clutch super shotgun. And it was after the injection too, taking that free damage. But when we made the change to Corrupted Keep, for a second there, it's just non-stop amazing play. Non-stop amazing play back to back. But
I mean, to be fair, you know you had a good series on your hands if this is just like a small selection of the highlights from it. You know, that was a very long set between these guys. And it came down to not as close as physically possible, but definitely almost as close as it gets.
We definitely almost saw a comeback from Busdriver. The second he made that unbelievable comeback, and he was on the verge of doing that again in the final round, but unfortunately just wasn't quite able to close it out. And again, we've seen Busdriver so many times throughout these constant weeks. It would have been nice to see him progress because he's clearly a really dangerous player.
I commend his effort. You know, the guy clearly put the effort in. He clearly has skills in the game, but ultimately, there is only so many places in the regionals. You know, there are less places than there are amazing players, and ultimately that means some people just cannot make the cut. And this week, Busdriver is unfortunately one of them.
So Gaia will be moving on, and we'll be seeing him again real soon, especially if he makes the Sunday playoffs. But once again, we're going to go to a quick break and set up our next match. So don't go anywhere.